Hey everybody! Thanks for checking out my channel, Becca Town Sims. Today I'm going to show you guys the speed build of Parkshore Chateau. So Parkshore Chateau is built on the Parkshore lot in Willow Creek, and it's right beside the Goth household, which is kind of an eyesore now that I built this mansion. Anyways, this neighborhood's got a lot of pretty nice houses, but of course they're base game. I just wanted to build kind of like a mansion here, something really elegant, maybe that a celebrity or really rich bougie sim would live in. So I came up with this. The style I think is a little bit neoclassical. And it reminded me of a chateau, so that's why it's called Parkshore Chateau. Very creative. I know, you can praise me in the comments. So this is really simple on the exterior. It's very symmetrical, which is partly why I'm going to call it neoclassical, along with could you call that a portico? I don't know, a portico on the exterior there, and that triangular pediment above the top balcony. So I think that makes it look neoclassical. The exterior is like a nice plain plaster, because I wanted it to be, classy, elegant. So this is what we got. One of the things that I had a hard time with was choosing the door. So I feel like the short walls always look way too stubby and the tall walls are enormous. So I like to build with the medium wall height, but there are not a lot of doors that suit it. And just because of the way I did this build, I needed to have a 2-tile door, and some of the other doors that I was interested in, I think I was kind of looking at some of the ones that came from university, were 3 tiles, so they totally threw off my balance here. The windows I used are from Strangerville. I do like those because they have the shutters on them, and I think that they're just classy. So I use those. It opens into what I am going to call the grand foyer, where I put the grand piano, which every mansion has to have a grand piano right when you walk in the door, right? Put down that nice marble tile and built the floor plan around it that is really symmetrical. And I tried to keep the color palette in here nice and light and bright. It's a little bit feminine. As I was building, I kind of thought of Judith Ward, but I thought of her too late because this is in Willow Creek and not in Del Sol Valley. But anyways, a celebrity like Judith Ward could live here. And in fact, I hope she moves because her mansion is just an absolute disaster. Maybe one day I'll actually renovate it. Anyways, I'm off topic. So I was thinking of this could be like a celebrity house or just for a really, fancy sim. Decorating the living room right there, I wanted it to be very white. To get a lot of sunlight and to just look classy. The foyer opens up to the floor above it, which I think has a really nice look to it. It's really dramatic, for this style of house. The only problem that I have with that is the lighting. So when you do that, it looks really stupid if you put the light fixture on the first floor, so you have to add some extra lights to get it bright enough. On the exterior here, I started placing these roses and the ivy that came with Get Together, I think it was. And then later I decided that I wanted something different, so I changed it to the climbing vine that I think comes with, the Jungle Exploration Pack. Oh my god, what is that called? Jungle Adventures? I don't know. You know the one I'm talking about. So I replaced it with that, and I like that look better. I like the color better, and I feel like the vines that I was using were a little bit too wild and bohemian, and I wanted something a little bit more structured. I also put balconies on the front of the house. I think it adds a lot for the detailing. And other things that you should know about this house. The kitchen was not inspired. So the kitchen is kind of basic. I used the cabinets that came with the vampire pack because, I don't know, they're just nice. But I didn't put too much heart into that kitchen because I thought that the person who lived there is not a chef. They pay to have somebody else cook their meals, and so a nice kitchen would not be on their list of things that they have to have in their mansion. So I'm sorry, don't hate me for the kitchen. For the master bedroom, I kind of built it in stages because I didn't really know what I wanted. I knew it was going to be the center of the house on the upstairs, but I had no idea what I should actually put in it. I went with this kind of like gold and black and white scheme, and I think it turned out pretty well. I don't think I've ever used these combinations before, and I wanted it to have a little sitting area too, but it took me a long time to decide what furniture to place in there, so I had to come back to it later to finish it up. And I also wanted it to have a nice like storage area, so I put in the closet shelves that come with the Get Famous expansion. Those were perfect for it. And then I put this bathroom, and it's kind of in the contrasting color, so the bedroom being like white with black detailing on the wallpaper. This one I used the black and the gold, so it kind of matches, but it's a sharper contrast. This house actually has a ton of bedrooms, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them until I was building each one. So I think it has 4 actual bedrooms, and then I turned one of these upstairs rooms into a movie room because I thought that the downstairs parlor was too classy to have a TV in. Alright, so now I want to talk to you about the landscaping. Part of the idea or the inspiration for this house was having the rounded porch, just because I never used them, and having it lead to a series of steps that go all the way down to the front walkway. So I knew that I was gonna have to use the elevation tool. Now look, I hate using the elevation tool because it feels like no matter what you do, it is not the correct height. So what I did is I basically made a plateau in the center and tried to smooth it all out so it wouldn't be too different. So it's kind of got a ledge where I put that front row of bushes, and then I had to smooth it out in certain places to make it a little bit less sharp. So that was a big pain in the butt. So for the actual landscaping, I have some tips. So the first thing that you're going to want to do when you are putting down your plants is to turn on the debug mode, because there are so many plants that are hidden in debug, and you can really fill out your gardens with some of the things that are in there. So if you don't know, to get into debug mode, you turn testing cheats on, so testing cheats true, and then you type in bb.show live edit objects, and you will get so many more options. So I did that. Some of the bushes that I used come from there, and that azalea bush is also from the debug mode. It's just a little bit different in size than the one that you can get in the regular buy mode catalog, so I use it for that just because it's a nice medium. Another tip that I have for building your gardens: place the taller plants in the back and make sure you add in enough greenery between the flowers, unless you're going for like a really riotous garden, and then stick to the same few plants. You don't want to incorporate too many into most builds. So for the backyard, I wanted to have kind of a reflection pool, so it's not a very big backyard, but I thought that it would look really elegant to just have this long pool in the back and to put some fountain elements into it. So I put the water lilies on top of it. Your sim can still swim in it though, and I also later added in some fountains just to make it look a little bit more elegant. These planters that you see at the front of the walkway are also out of the debug mode catalog, and I think that they work really well here to kind of delineate the space between the sidewalk and the house grounds. You can see, I didn't talk about this yet, but I threw a wall up there, kind of a privacy fence. Usually I don't like to put fences in front of my builds for one main reason, and that is because when you take the picture of it for the gallery, some of the fences will actually block the build, so it looks less attractive if somebody's like scrolling through the gallery. The fences can prevent them from seeing part of the house, so that's why I usually avoid them. For this one, it kind of works because the house is set further back from the road, so it doesn't block as much of the house as it would if the house were closer to the street. I tried to make sure to place this the flower vines all over the house and not just on the front, because I think it looks more natural that way. And in the back, besides just having the reflecting pool, I wanted there to be a little bit of an area for the Sims to hang out. So on that back section, I put kind of a little seating area where they could go, but I did not put a grill because, I don't know, it didn't seem the space for it. And I started to decorate the back porch just a little bit by putting in the planters. So something that I did, you just saw, was I used the big box planter, but I wanted there to be flowers in it too. So I took the azalea bush and just using move objects, added it there, just to make it look like a little bit nicer and more detailed. Alright, so one of the biggest obstacles that you run into if you are using an elevation tool is that sometimes your ground is not as even as it looks. So the objects that you place don't end up flat. You can sometimes use 9 and 0 to move objects up and down, but if it's something that the game thinks should be flat on the ground, but your ground is not flat, then those tools won't help you move it. So the only real solution is either to do a better job than I did leveling out your terrain, or to use what is called tool mod, T-O-O-L. With tool mod, you can change the elevation with more precision than you can with what is built into the game. So my planters were elevated and I just lowered them so that they were ground level. And that you can find online. I'll post a link in the description of the video if you do not already use it. You should, because it does a lot of really cool things. And you don't need it for the lot. It's just helpful for building. So something that I wish the game had more of is artwork and rugs too, actually. So I think that the art and the rugs on the floor can really change the look of a room. And it's such a simple little thing. So for the art for this house, I wanted to have something different. So I went through the catalog and was like looking at stuff, but nothing really seemed right to me. It used to be that you could get art off the gallery. So it basically is like custom content, except for it shows up in the game as if your sim had taken a picture or painted a picture. So it wasn't flagged as CC before. However, with the most recent patch, they said they were going to start flagging that. And I hate for my builds to be flagged as having CC, because then they don't show up for as many people. And honestly, the stuff off the gallery is not real CC. It's kind of in this gray area because you don't have to download it separately. It comes with the build. So I didn't want to do that, but you can still find all of the in-game paintings on the gallery, so I decided to use those to decorate the house with. And I think that it gives it really that like very moneyed art collector look. So I put in some of the more serious paintings from the actual game to just kind of lend some like gravitas to the decor. So those are what I used in the living room, and I just sized them up so that they would be like really dramatic. And then I put some of these still lifes in some of the other rooms. And I think that it really works for this build, especially since it's a more formal kind of like stuffier house. When I first did the layout of this house, I kind of forgot that you need a bathroom. And so it's really this enormous because I had sectioned this room off to be something different, like a music studio or something to start with. And then I realized like, oh, we need a bathroom. So it's divided into two, so it can be accessed either from the study or from the dining room. And I actually really like the way that this bathroom turned out. I gave it that like striped yellow wallpaper and put the big potted plant in there. And for some reason, it kind of reminds me, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Savannah, Georgia, but that bathroom says like fancy southern mansion to me. And I like the way that it came out. For this top room that I'm decorating now, I wasn't sure what I wanted it to be either. Like I said earlier, I did not have a plan for what I was going to do with the decoration of the rooms upstairs. And so that big art room I thought like could be a second study, and then I ended up turning it into a second or like a guest bedroom. And this room I decided was going to be the TV room, and I like the way that this room turned out too. It's very kind of matchy, but I like it because it kind of has this like mid-century look to me. I think it's because I've been watching, what's it called, like the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and her apartment's got like a lot of pink in it, like, and very like matchy stuff, and so I think like that's like a subconscious influence on this room. I mean, it doesn't look just like it, but I don't know, the vibe somehow. And I put that enormous TV screen in there. It's just like, would you even want to watch TV on a screen that big, like sitting that close as the couch is? I don't know, okay? But it's what I did. Just thinking about it honestly gives me flashbacks to this time. Well, these 2 times actually where I went to the movies and I thought that I was buying tickets in the back row, but it was in the front. I hated myself. The first time it was to see Black Panther, and like everybody's heads were so warped. And then when I saw like parts of the movie later, I was like, oh my God, these people are really attractive, but you wouldn't know because I watched it from such a weird angle. And then I did the same thing with Knives Out, and like I need to re-see it because I don't know what anybody in that movie looked like. But anyways, this is basically the end of the build. I hope that you guys liked it. If you want to see it, it is on the gallery. It is called Parkshore Chateau. You can find me on the gallery as Beckatown Sims. You can also find me on Instagram as Beckatown Sims. And of course, you can find me here. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because that would be really nice of you. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys again.